The Chiefs lose a defensive tackle after failing to add help at the trade deadline. What are they going to do now? We're going to talk about that. ACU crew, Chiefs Kingdom, how we doing tonight? Good to see everybody rolling in. Do your boys a favor, hit that like button right off the rip. Let's get more people in here tonight and have a good conversation about the Kansas City Chiefs on a bye week. Everybody's still a little bummed out that they didn't add to the defensive line or pick up Breece Hall or anything. They didn't do nothing, Mike. Everybody's upset about it. But let's talk about where we're standing here at the bye week and what this team's looking at going forward, man. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm sick.
Got the
Kentucky weather's got me. It finally nailed me. But it's okay. I'll get through it. And yeah, I think Brett Veach made me a little sick. No, I knew there was a pretty good feeling this year that he wasn't going to go out and spend a lot of draft capital. We just didn't have a lot of money. Like, I don't know how we were supposed to sign any of these guys we went out and got. So I really didn't think. I was thinking if we did anything, it was going to be a very low-level move, something like an Arden Key or something like we had discussed. But at the same time, does that really move the needle for you? And we discussed that plenty of times, and it really don't. So what happened today, though, was not a very good move. And I'll bring this up. Aaron Wilson, NFL, reports that the Steelers signed Broderick Martin off our practice squad. And you would say, well, why is that a big deal? Well, we signed him because we didn't have a lot of depth there. And This is everybody we have on our roster right now. So Chris Jones, Pennell, Tillery, and Noddy's on the 53. We literally just signed Pennell. It hasn't even been 2 weeks ago. And then the practice squad is Zach Pickens and Marlon Tuipulotu. But he's already been elevated 3 times, Steve, which means the next time he gets elevated to a game situation, he has to be signed to the 53-man roster. So is that a big deal? I don't know. Charles Goldman actually come out and said this, expect the Chiefs to maybe sign Kozai Izzard, who we liked in the offseason. The Saints released him from their practice squad. And also we have ties to Keandre Coburn and Fabian Levet, who right now are not with anybody. So maybe they get back and get on the practice squad. But, Steve, we need a little bit of defensive line help. We knew this all the way through the trade deadline. Brett Veach just couldn't get it.
Mike, we've known this since the offseason, right? That's something you've been pounding the table for, was help on the defensive line, be it edge rusher or defensive tackle. Right now, it looks like defensive tackle is looking pretty rough. We were talking about getting somebody on the other edge to help out George Karlaftis on the other side, because he gets a lot of pressure, but there's never anybody there to clean it up. Charles Omenihu, Mike Dana, not having a great year. But that defensive tackle help, that's pretty scary, right? I thought for sure that Brett Veach was going to go out and make something happen, even if it wasn't something big. They had to do something after Omar Norman Lott went down with the season-ending injury. Just not a whole lot there. And then now, like you mentioned, the Steelers signed Broderick Martin off our practice squad. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but when depth is so thin, and that Broderick Martin guy that everybody says, oh, well, who cares if he's gone? He's actually pretty solid. He's a big dude. He's a run stuffer. Mike, we watched him play at WKU. He played at Western. Really good defensive tackle. I thought it was a good signing by them when they got him. I thought maybe he could come in a pinch and help this team out, but that's another one gone, man. So now what are they looking at? Charles Goldman says Fabian Levet, Kozai Izzard. I do like Izzard. We liked him a lot in the offseason. I think that he showed that he could be a pretty decent defensive tackle in this league, and he also has the luxury of having a pass rush as well as just a run stuffer. So maybe they can look at him, but it just sucks that we're at this point in the season with the problems that this team has, and this is the boat we're in. We didn't do anything before the trade deadline. Yeah.
I felt like Broderick Martin was going to be a guy that you could have got really comfortable with this scheme, and then maybe week 11, week 12, week 13, maybe something for the playoff push, you could start activating him to the 53 man. And I think they took a little too long to get him there. And of course the Steelers come in and swiped them out from under us, but it is what it is. It sounds, at the end of the day, it sounds minuscule. It sounds stupid. Why do you even talk about this? I think every little thing counts at this point, especially when you're dealing with something that is very, very weak right now, which is our defensive line help. Like, we literally just signed back Malik Herring as if that was some kind of amazing sign. But honestly, we needed him, I guess. Like, we need all these guys at this point. Like, we do not have bodies back there, at least guys that you can throw in a pinch that understand the system. So Here's what it is. It's just making everything harder on Chris Jones is what it's doing.
Yeah, and we don't need that because everybody already says he's a no-show, which I think he addressed. But anyway, slow but sure with the 10 bomb says, "What's up, ACU crew? How we all doing tonight?" We're doing good, buddy. Thanks for the 10. Thanks for the support. Hopefully we can get everybody in here and have a good night talking about the Chiefs, man. So that's just the glaring problem in this roster right now is defensive line. It has been. We made a video the other day. I'm sure you guys watched it. If you didn't, you can go check it out later. But we were talking, it just says like, what the hell or something maybe, or no, it might've been the one after that. I don't know. But we were talking about how the Chiefs stood pat at the trade deadline. They actually could have got Breece Hall for a 3rd round pick, but Brett Veach wouldn't come off of that 4th round. So I think that's where the disconnect was there. That pissed off a lot of the Chiefs fans. A lot of Chiefs Kingdom was very upset about that. They think that just having a game-breaking running back can change everything and make everything better.
Facebook wasn't pissed off. Like we heard about
mainly X.
We heard about 10 different people from Facebook saying that we were frauds. We're bandwagon Chiefs fans, and that nobody in the world was mad at Brett Veach. And what I figured is, well, X was mad at Brett Veach. We seen it. There's a lot of people hated him. It'll get to Facebook in about 2 to 2.5 weeks, and then they'll be mad. So that's what usually happens with Facebook.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were a lot of people on YouTube as well. Like, that's the thing, man. We didn't think they needed to get a running back. And the reason why we didn't think they needed to get a running back is because, well, they don't use them. Like, and we pointed out just the most recent game, you had Kareem Hunt getting 7 yards per carry at a certain point, and Andy still wouldn't give him the ball. So if you got a guy that's, that successful against a defense and you won't even give him the ball, then what's the point? There's really no point. So I'm not mad at the Breece Hall thing. That doesn't bother me one bit. I kind of thought that was like a long shot anyway. It surprised me that it was that close to happening. That's what really surprised me. But what sucks and what pissed me off, Mike, was the lack of attention to the defensive line when I thought that was obvious. I thought that was an obvious thing. And now this isn't me saying, oh, I know more than Brett Veach. I know more than Andy Reid. That's not the case at all. But I thought anyone that watches football and knows how anything works, that it was pretty obvious that we needed defensive line help. I thought it was a no-brainer that they would go get somebody.
Yeah, it feels like to me that they had to have had talks with somebody about someone. I know the Breece Hall was the big one that took over at the deadline because the Jets were having the fire sale, and he's the sexy guy, right? That's the one they wanted to get. So that's the one that made news. I'm a little like, I don't know how to put it. I feel like there had to be something out there for a defender, and I feel like there was just a lack of reporting and a lack of coverage on it. I would love to see here the next few days if anybody can get that out of Veach, which at this point you're probably not going to.
Right. But I mean, I think that's
they're
a question
never going to go out and say who they were trying to get.
I think it would only make sense. I mean, Brett always comes out and is kind of accountable for the moves that he makes or the moves that he doesn't make. He does it all throughout the off season. He does it any other time. I think it would be good to have him up on the podium now. Just that way somebody can ask the obvious question, why did you stand pat at defensive line when there's an obvious problem there? Because that's what everybody wants to know. And then if Brett Veach has a great explanation or just says, hey, I tried to do this
don't
and this
you feel
and this,
like his explanation is, I tried, we don't have a lot of cap.
Well, that's what I think that's what most people would like to know. Did he even try, or were they just content on where they were at? Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that's like, oh, well, I think the coaching staff's just content with what we have. And, fine, that's great, but let's make it work.
Spags tell it, he's happy with Derek Nottie. He could be the worst rated defensive tackle in the league, and he is perfect.
That's pretty wild, man. Let's get to the chat real quick. We got Rob in the house with the 2 bomb. My bad. It says on to 2026. I just don't believe in this team. Rob, I've seen you going through it in the chat, man. And I understand a lot of the sentiment. I understand the feelings that you have about this team. It's just, I think the thing that's really missing with this team to me, Mike, is just like, it's almost like there's no fire in their belly, and there should be. I mean, you're a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that has been so successful over the last 8 years. And literally everyone outside of Kansas City and outside of Chiefs Kingdom just tries to discredit everything that you've done. They're literally always talking about how you just cheated your way to rings. The refs helped you. You suck. Gronk's way better than Kelsey ever thought about being. Patrick Mahomes is a fraud. He could never be the GOAT. Like, it's just constant bullshit from outside. I would like to see this team use that, get a little chip on their shoulder, and play with a little bit of intensity, because I think the roster itself, Rob, I think is one of the more talented rosters that we've had in the Patrick Mahomes era, especially on the offensive side of the football. I just want to see them get out there and grab the bull by the horns, man. It don't look like they're I would be pissed if I was them. I would want to go prove everybody wrong and tell them to shut up if it was me, but they seem just kind of riding along.
Well, I mean, look, we've just got back all the pieces here, 2-3 weeks ago.
Right.
And we've been blowing teams out. We've put on a offensive firepower performance that we've not seen since 2018. Like, we literally were leading the league in every category. We're putting up 40-plus, 3-4 straight games in a row. Okay, we had a bad game. We had a bad game versus the Bills, who, by the way, not a bad team. That's a playoff team. We played as bad as we did and only lost by 7 points, and they played as well as they did and only won by 7. Like, they could not have executed their game plan any better than they did it. And we could not have looked more stale, more uninspired, just everything. Like, we didn't stick to any game plan. We didn't even have a good game plan. I don't even think Andy Reid had a game plan. It's like he just showed up and started throwing darts at the playbook.
That Buffalo game was the worst coaching performance I think I've ever seen from Andy Reid coaching staff.
And we lost by one score.
Yeah. But, I mean, they were just clueless, lost, looked like they had never coached a football game in their life on all 3 phases.
Like, I just don't feel like this team's that bad. Like, yes, our record's not great.
Still not as bad as people are making it out to be.
Like, I get it, but it's not like the sky's falling here. Like, we put ourselves in a big hole, but a lot of that's because Rashee Rice suspension.
Right.
We all knew that was going to be a big deal. Yeah. Like, everybody did. And it hit us, and we didn't think we are going to have to go through it without Xavier Worthy too, but we did.
Right. Things happen. 5-4, it's really not, hey, we're tanking kind of thing,
Well,
like
we got to get to 11 wins. You got to get to 11 wins.
Yeah, I mean, 11 wins, you're probably getting in the playoffs, right? I think
we got to
12,
win 6
obviously.
more.
So, yeah, Willie says nobody should be upset. It is what it is. A shout out to Willie over on Facebook. It's kind of what it, how it kind of is, right? I think people are upset, or what makes people upset is they see a lot of potential in this football team, and then they see a scenario in their head where you get to the end of the year and they either A, miss the playoffs, or B, take an early exit. And you're sitting there thinking, if they would have just addressed a couple of little things, this team could have been a Super Bowl contender, right? So I think that's where people get upset. They start looking into the future. But, I mean, we just have to let Brett Veach do his job and let Andy Reid do his job.
Or
and
lack thereof.
Dude, it sucks. And when you're watching some obvious flaws and you feel like anybody should be able to point it out, and things that should be addressed or could be fixed, it gets a little frustrating. But at the same time, you have to remember who these guys are. Yes, as frustrating as it is to watch them and the way they work sometimes, they also have produced nothing but results. We are in the midst of a dynasty right now, so you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, I would say, as far as that goes. Crayson, also over on Facebook, says Brett Veach has a lot of questions that need answers. I'd agree. I think they should get him on the podium soon.
Do you think there's a lot of talk about Brett Veach? And the funny thing is, again, we've been told over and over that this Brett Veach thing's blown out of proportion. We just did it for clicks. Not so much. I think a lot of people was very irritated with Brett Veach and the Chiefs sitting on their hands.
Yeah.
But do you think the mark of a good GM, the same as a mark of a good parent sometimes, the mark of a good teacher?
No.
A leader.
Right, yeah.
Just any of those. Do you think a mark of a good GM sometimes is to not panic, do something that gets yourself into trouble, and sometimes doing less is doing more when it's all said and done? Because he could have given up the third for Breece Hall, right? He could have given up the third. Breece Hall could have played his 8 games. Andy Reid wouldn't have ran the ball. We missed the playoffs, and we lose a 3rd-round pick, and he signs with somebody else in the free agency market. Right. And what do we say then? Brett Veach is an idiot. Veach is an idiot. We shouldn't have done that. That's true. I'm telling you, sometimes it's like, be careful what you wish for, and just give Brett Veach the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's seen, to me, I think pass rusher was what he was going for. He couldn't find it. He made a play at Breece Hall at the last minute. They couldn't work it out. Big deal.
Yeah.
And that's the one got out.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I've read another interesting theory on the entire situation. like Brett Veach standing pat, not signing anybody, and everything like that. And I want to bring that up and talk about that just a little bit here in a minute. But before we get to that, guys, appreciate you being here. Hit the like button if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed to the channel or you're new to the channel, welcome in. We're all Chiefed up. We put out tons of Chiefs content year round. We are the premier channel for Chiefs Kingdom worldwide, baby. You don't have to be in Kansas City. Chiefs Kingdom goes worldwide. So if you're new to the channel, put in the chat where you're watching from. We always like to see that. And Mike, I wanted to bring this up real quick. Slow but sure. It says, watching the Broncos and Raiders are like watching two turtles do the dirty. Or a turtle and Joe Burrow. Let's go, baby. Mike, why do you look scarred for life after that?
Man, watching a turtle just have his way with Joe Burrow, I don't know about it.
We got a 5-bomb from our boy Greg Goodwin. Says, if we miss the playoffs, then I'm okay firing all coaches and maybe Veach. We play too conservatively. We should crush everyone and not let up. So this could go a couple different ways for me. Like, should this team miss the playoffs? Absolutely not. So yeah, I kind of understand that. Like, if they don't make the playoffs, that's a massive L for this coaching staff and for Brett Veach, especially in Patrick Mahomes' prime.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm with you on that. I don't think you just go firing everybody, but I think someone's going to the chopping block. Someone has to be making an example of at that point, because this is unacceptable. You can't be in the middle of a dynasty and miss the playoffs with the best quarterback in the game. That's just wild. Now, as far as playing too conservatively, I would say yes and no. I feel like sometimes, especially if we have a lead, then yes, we get a little bit too conservative and everything. And I'm with you. I think we should be able to put the foot on the pedal and go ahead and put some of these teams away. Now, other times it's like, it's kind of the opposite of that. Like in the Buffalo game, like it was very simple, get under center, hand Kareem Hunt the football, and you're winning that football game. But instead we tried to come out with these elaborate play designs. We had these crazy routes being ran that take 4 seconds to develop. And Patrick Mahomes literally back there fighting for his life because, well, we don't run the football, so they don't have to respect it. And I just think sometimes simple's better. And Andy never seems to get that right, man. Never seems to get it right. But appreciate the 5-bomb, Greg. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And then we got a 5-bomb from our boy Bryant Williamson. It says, hear ye, hear ye. Relax. Let's relax, guys. It'll be all right.
Look back at the Patriots dynasty they had. And I think they missed the playoffs early on. I think maybe Tom Brady was injured and they missed it. But they missed right in the middle of their dynasty. They missed it like 2008, I believe. I think it was after like 5 or 6 straight years of going, and then they missed for a season, and then they got it back on track, and then they went for like maybe 12, 13 straight years. So stuff like this I think it gets to the point to where like some people get overly confident. Like, well, with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, we can't miss the playoffs. It's a shoe-in. It's guaranteed.
We can.
Well, I think what you learn, though, is like this year, sometimes the cookie don't crumble your way. Last year it did, 15-2. And we didn't have a great roster compared to this season. I think our defense might have been better last year. I wouldn't say yesterday. Our defense might have been better last year total. But the offense is not even close. It's just not. So, again, could we miss the playoffs? I don't know. And if we do, I don't know if I do fire everybody. I just don't know. I would maybe look at maybe fire like offensive defensive line coaches, maybe. You could maybe go to the Andy Heck route and be like, look, offensive line. But I feel like they're developing well. I feel like Kingsley's finally in a spot where he should have been playing, and he's developing. Jalen Moore's looked okay. Josh Simmons has looked good when he's finally played. He's going to be back. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe everybody's just overreacting a little bit.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. We have to like kind of take a step back and look at this season as a whole, right? You said we're 5-4, right? So let's think about that. Travis Kelce dropped a ball that any other time he would have caught against the Eagles. That was that game. So very easily we could be 6-3.
Right. He ran the wrong route, costed a touchdown versus the Chargers.
Absolutely.
Stop running.
Oh, look, 2 plays go your way, and all of a sudden you're 7-2. So, I mean, I think, yes, kind of getting in that mindset that, oh, it's done this year.
Dude,
We're not
if
getting
Andy
the playoffs.
Reid
We're
would have
tanking. Let's
ran
just
the
tank and get a
ball.
good draft pick. It's like,
If Andy Reid runs the ball, we beat Buffalo.
right. I'm just saying, dude, it's that close. And that's the thing. The NFL has a lot of parity this year. There's no just outstanding teams that are out there blowing everybody up. So I think that
I just haven't seen nothing out of this Chiefs team, Steve. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've not watched a single game where it just looked like we were just outclassed across the field. Shouldn't have been there. It looked like a high school team versus a college playoff team. I just haven't seen that
closest thing
this year.
to that was the Buffalo game, and we could have won that.
Right,
Which is
and
wild,
that was just
right?
because of coaching and game plan. So that's what I'm saying. Like, nothing tells me to panic about this team. Like, I'm just not seeing it.
I'm not either. I'm actually pretty excited about the team going forward because I think if they could get, if the coaches can get everything in order and figure out what they want to do and how to do it effectively, get out of their own way, I think this team could be a little special if you start looking at offense.
I agree.
But we got Mateo, the Jayhawk, been a member for 3 months now, says this may be unpopular, but I've been over Veach past 3 seasons. So I think it's kind of what Mike was talking about earlier. Brett Veach is the opposite of Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is the GM that spoils his kids, right? Like, I'm going to get you a PlayStation, an iPad, an iPhone. I'm going to get you all that for Christmas. I'm just keep going. You want a bike? I got you. You want this? I got you. And then Brett Veach is the GM that's like the parent that's like, no, this is what you got. Make it work and be grateful for it. Like, he's that mean parent that won't spoil his children. They're polar opposites. But I think those two, even though they're opposites, are probably the 2 best GMs in football. So I don't know. To me, anyone in this phase or this era of the Chiefs, I think it'd be a disservice to come out and say that any of them deserve to be fired at this point. The fact that over the last 8 years, we've been to the AFC Championship game every time. We've been to 5 Super Bowls, won 3 Super Bowls. I think it's almost silly when you're sitting at 5-4, you're still a winning record, and you also had to deal with Rashee Rice suspension. Xavier Worthy went down for 2 or 3 games. You had Josh Simmons just completely disappear on everybody for a month. Like, we've had all kinds of weird stuff get thrown our way. And then you got Isaiah Pacheco down now with the MCL sprain. It's just like there's been some adversity, and we're still at 5-4, and we're coming off of 3 straight Super Bowl appearances. So to say that anyone needs to be fired, to me, is just out of pocket. Like, you can be upset, you can be frustrated, you can say you don't agree with that, but to think that someone coming off of a run, what we've been on, needs to be fired at 5-4, to me, it's just wild. And I mean, if you feel that way, that's cool. Just to me, that's my mentality, Mike. What do you think?
Well, a lot of people always think Veach don't do anything, but if you go back to what was it? It was 2020, for example. We made a trade at the deadline. We traded DeAndre Washington for draft picks. The year after that, 2021, we traded Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. We traded him to the Jets, I believe. So he made some moves. But then in 2021, he traded for Melvin Ingram at the deadline. He added a pass rusher.
Yes.
In 2022, he went out and he gave up one of those thirds for Kadarius Toney. He made a move to try to get somebody that fit his thing. In 2022, he traded Fenton away at the deadline. In 2024, he went out and grabbed Uche. He went out and grabbed DeAndre Hopkins at the deadline. He's been known to make moves at the deadline. This is one of the first years he's actually sit on his hands.
Yeah.
Like these might not be the greatest, most sexy moves in the world, but he tried and he did what he could do. Like, I would think the DeAndre Hopkins one was a big one. It might have been a year too late, honestly. I think Chiefs fans wanted him a year earlier. But DeAndre Hopkins was good when we got him. We just didn't utilize him properly.
Correct.
And then he goes out and gets Uche, and where does he go? Spags don't even put him on the field. So maybe Brett Veach is like, look, why am I wasting draft capital and the coaches won't play him?
That's what I was wanting to get to, man. I had another theory, and I've seen a few people bring it out here, and they thought that the coaching staff has been below expectations this year, right? That we have a good team, and the coaches have caused us to lose a handful of games, especially the Buffalo game. And they think, Mike, that Brett Veach refused to sign anybody as a way of almost shading the coaching staff. Like, I'm not giving you nothing else. You have enough. Figure it out. You should be winning these football games, which I highly doubt that's what's actually going on. But I thought it was an interesting theory, though, that Brett Veach would be like, you know what? Why am I signing you guys? Like you just mentioned, I gave you Josh Uche last year. I gave you DeAndre Hopkins. You didn't even use them. You know, and then you should have won this game. You should have won this game. You should have won this game. But you couldn't even do common sense coaching moves. Like you couldn't.
All those moves. I didn't even mention. I don't think we traded for him, but we signed him. We signed Terrell Suggs that year that we went to the Super Bowl.
Mike, the only thing that this kind of reminds me of is I can't remember which year it was, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it was one of the years that we went to the Super Bowl and won with MVS and like Sky Moore and Juju.
It was our second one.
Maybe Juju wasn't even there.
Eagles.
I can't remember. It was one of those years, but everyone was just adamant that we have to sign a wide receiver at the trade deadline. And I think we even put out there, and this still holds true to this day, in my opinion, but if we win a Super Bowl with what we have, Brett Veach is lucky as hell because he completely ignored the wide receiver issue. And sure enough, we did. Right? So that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like this glaring problem that everybody just sees.
But also, do you remember the narrative of Chiefs Kingdom when we said that? We said that they said we were cocky and arrogant, and that how could we ever say that Brett Veach wasn't a genius and that he was lucky because he made
got lucky
the move.
That year. He got lucky that year.
Exactly, but now look how it's changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like things just change with the tide.
I mean, isn't that fair to say? Is that not fair to say this season? Is it not fair to say if the Chiefs go on and win a Super Bowl this year, Brett Veach is pretty lucky because our defensive line is trash and somehow it still worked out for him and he stood pat. It's same difference, right? And I think that's fair. Mike, let's get to the chat. Our girl Brenda with the 5 bumps. Let's cry a river. So we lose a few games. We've been there before. So we don't win a Super Bowl. We still have Patrick. Have faith or get out of here.
Brenda, I'm not crying. I'm just sick. I know it sounds like I've been crying all day.
That's my thing, though. It's like, I think this team's still in a good position, right? We're not in a great position. We're not where you wanted to be. But still, like I was saying earlier, 5-4. You still have a pretty good chance of making the playoffs. You're still the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl this year.
Did you see what?
Have you seen that?
Right. Appreciate the 5-bomb, Brandon. I think you're right. Did you see we're 8-10 today? Of course, I don't listen to this, but
Lord,
they put it up. 8-10 had a big debate on their entire show throughout the whole city of Kansas City with like the 5 people that actually still listen to FM radio. They asked, what's more likely, the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl or the Chiefs missing the playoffs? Like, that's really a thing? Like, you really think that? Like, I don't think those
people are at, dude.
But I don't think those are two opposite. I feel like that's just way too opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people, that's where they're at.
Do you count the season is the season a complete waste? Do you view it the same as if we miss the playoffs or if we get to the playoffs and come up short of a Super Bowl? Like, are you Super Bowl or bust?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I do think in a Patrick Mahomes era right now that it's Super Bowl or bust. But I also think if you get there or if you get to the AFC Championship game at least, like, you can't get too pissed. If you miss the playoffs right now, that's a whole another ball game, right? To me, that's much, much worse.
But I feel like a lot of people are in the thought process of, like, if we don't win the Super Bowl, it's just a failed season.
I think I agree with that to a point, to an extent, but I think there's a giant difference between losing in the Super Bowl, losing in the AFC Championship, or missing the playoffs.
Right.
I think that's a big, huge difference, right?
Yeah.
That to me is a sign of a problem. Like if you lose a playoff game or the Super Bowl, it's like, damn, things didn't go your way, you didn't get it done.
This roster's good too. So my point is, if you squandered this offense, like, that's got to fall on coaches, doesn't it?
I would think so. Damo with the 5 bombs says, we'll be fine. Chiefs after the bye week are unmatched. We for sure lost a huge game last week, but it might have just sparked what they need. You never know, man. Sometimes losses do help teams. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, that was a good loss. We needed it. I've never been one of those people. I don't think we ever need to lose.
The Chiefs are they've won too much to get moral wins out of these. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't think it's a moral win. What's it called?
Moral victory.
Yeah, like a moral victory. They don't need that. Right? They don't need that, in my opinion. But I do understand what you're saying. And I pretty much agree with it as well, I guess. Like, the Bills always tend to beat us during the regular season. It kind of wakes us up. They show Andy Reid what our flaws are, and then he has X amount of games to the playoffs to correct
surely to God, for the fifth year in a row, Buffalo can't come out and try the exact same game plan again next time. Because that's what they've done so far, is show their hand and then get their ass beat in the playoffs. There's no way they're going to come out and do the exact same thing. Come out in the playoffs and just run the ball. Well,
There's
no way.
How they got there, so I don't see them going away. Now, they could do something defensively different.
Yeah, I would think. But then again, that's the formula to beat Patrick Mahomes right now, right? Because Andy won't run the ball, so let's just rush the front four.
I don't think they tried to reinvent the wheel or anything. I just think Cole Bishop had a great game. And he usually don't have a great game.
I think they used the same playbook that Tampa Bay Buccaneers used in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I think they used the same playbook as the Eagles used in the Super Bowl. It's
and
very.
I think it worked because Andy Reid let it work.
He walked into it. And refused to get out.
When he walks into those game plans and he refuses to switch it up.
Right. So, I mean, if you're a team playing the Chiefs, don't you like those odds?
Yeah. I say,
like, hey, I'm going to let Andy beat himself.
Don't switch it up. I'm good.
Andy's tough to beat. Andy's a smart guy. He could be the best to ever do it. But
he beats himself.
He will beat himself, so let's let him do it. I think that's exactly how they look at it. Rob Miller with the 2 bombs says you guys are delusional a little bit. Man, I don't know about us being delusional, but to think that the team needs to tank and get a high draft pick, that might be on the delusional spectrum.
Yeah, I don't think.
You're 5-4. You're the odds-on favorite from Vegas to win the Super Bowl. You have your roster back fully healthy finally, and
look, as bad as we're talking about the pass rush,
what are we talking about?
As bad as we're talking about the pass rush, if I could find it, I think the Computer Cowboy, one of those guys on X, come out with something today, and they actually said the Chiefs are a top 5 team in the league of getting pressure with just their front 4. Like, I almost fell over when I seen it, but they're the ones crunching the numbers.
That's got to be wrong.
It's got to be wrong.
They messed up
it has
somewhere,
to be. But
buddy.
if it's not wrong, like, what is going on?
They messed up somewhere. Rob, appreciate the 2, man.
I can't.
We can't be on the same side on this one because I think it's wild.
Here's my thing, though, Steve.
Go ahead.
I don't think you can be delusional just because you see what this team is, and we've seen flashes of what this team can be, and then we just had one down game that was honestly, literally, just the fact that the coaches just kind of run a bad game plan. That was it.
Yeah, it's bad. It was just like the Super Bowl. It was almost a spitting image. Only we didn't get blown out. That was it.
And again, when we didn't have a full strength, we were one Travis Kelce route from beating the Chargers. We were one Chris Jones staying in his lane to stop Justin Herbert maybe getting the ball back to win. Travis Kelce don't knock Xavier Worthy out for 4 weeks in the midst of us already having Rashee Rice out.
Right.
Kelce don't drop an end zone pass there. So there's literally like 4 plays that's probably prevented us from being like 1 loss right now.
Yeah, I can't get on it. I don't think it's throwing the towel yet. Jay Macker with the 5 bomb says Spags needs to be sat down and have to come to Jesus talk about the type of defensive players he gets horned up over. So, man, that's the thing. Spags definitely falls in love with some weird types of players. Like, he thinks that Jamari Conner is the greatest thing to ever walk the earth, right?
Jamari.
Yeah, and you're right. His defensive, really, it's kind of the defensive ends to me. He's got a type there. We've said this 1,000 times on this channel, so I'm not going to harp on it too long, but we were in love with Nick Bonito. We got to get this guy. We're talking the best Ben we've seen since Derek Thomas. Yeah. A guy that could get on the outside and just cause chaos. Of course he wouldn't go for him because he wanted to go with Joshua Kando or somebody ridiculous because they have to be a certain height. They got to be certain weight. They got to be able to set the edge.
Or does Spags love guys that are super athletic? They can do anything. Like they can play corner, they can play safety. Like he likes those kind of guys that are just hybrids.
Yeah.
Except
on
the most
line.
athletic position on the team, which is the defensive end, that should be the most sought after athleticism. That's where he wants it to be a Mack truck trying to turn around.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd.
No, honestly, and this is kind of falls into the same thing I was talking about earlier. Spags has done such a good job since he's been here. It's really hard to argue with him. You kind of just let the process, take place and everything and see how he gets everything going. Because normally Spags' defense's last half of the season is when they pick it up and have a good playoff run and everything. So Is he trying to figure out what he wants to do with his team? Sure, probably still in the midst of trying to figure all that out. A lot of young players, a lot of different pieces to move here and there. But the one thing that I would have a conversation with him about is that the too much zone. I'm not a fan of dropping.
Dude, he didn't used to love zone, but he just fell in love with it.
I don't know why he's doing it a lot now, but it doesn't work for us.
I don't love zones.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think you should just be playing like straight man to man. I want to beat receivers off the line. I want to bump you into oblivion.
Yes.
By the time the receiver gets 5, 6, 7 yards up the field, you can't touch him anymore. I want it to be 2 seconds into the play and your quarterback running for his life. I don't love zones because they allow so many free releases. And these quarterbacks nowadays they watch too much film. They're too good. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. Appreciate the 5, Jay Macker. We got Roma Stamo in the house with the 5 bomb. Says, you boys nailed it for the last 3 years. Run at least 20 times and at minimum most games. And you were going to win most games. Simple as that. It's 100% true. And like, I'm not saying it's a surefire thing. Like you're not guaranteed to win, but this team, hell, the same team for the last 5, 6 years, Mike, if they hit that 20 mark and carries to running backs, the win is way more probable. Like, I mean, 9 out of 10 times.
Should I take a little bit of time tomorrow and go through games since Patrick Mahomes has been here and see how many games, what our winning percentage is when we ran the ball 20 plus?
Somebody ask Chat GPT and see what they have to say.
They're slap.
You think they're smart enough to figure that out?
No. It's possible.
I would like to see that. That's a good idea. I would like to see that because we've kind of harped on that, and I think it's true. I'm almost positive that we win almost every game where we.
That would be what you'd have to look at, right? You'd have to look at what your winning percentage is when you run 20 plus, because there's been times that we haven't needed to run 20 plus
and still won a game. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I've always said. You can win without doing that, but your chances of winning the game go way up if you just do it.
Right.
Yeah. We got to look into that, man. Appreciate the 5. Brother Rick with a 5 says if they don't make the playoffs, they'll have a better draft position to bolster their roster and lose the high-priced, underperforming veterans. So, I mean, I guess that's like the bright side, but I just don't see us. That's the thing. If they don't make the playoffs, they're still not going to have a good draft pick.
No, you kind of sit in that middle of the first round, no man's land.
Yeah, I mean, so not much different than what we're used to. I mean, you got to think about this for a second. This season, we traded back. We picked at 32. We picked very last in the first round, and we still managed to get a player that was a top 15 guy. All right? So, for all intents and purposes, last year, we got that. We didn't have to miss playoffs.
Yeah, you literally got that last year. Like he should have been a top 15 pick.
Right.
And look, I'm under the scenario if the Chiefs would have picked number 20, we'd have took him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we were just going to take that guy.
I think that was their guy, man. I really do. But yeah, while we're talking about Josh Simmons, he'll be back. So he's supposed to be back after this bye. It looks like the team's fairly all there, right? I think everybody's good. Healthy, besides Pacheco. Obviously, that's still yet to be determined on how long that's going to be an issue. But, I mean, really, the team's kind of got everybody back. You're coming in. Who do we play right off the rip? Is it Denver?
I'm not for sure. Yeah,
Pretty sure we play Denver. So that's a game that you must win at this point. Like, so all that being said earlier, like, we're not in a bad position at 5-4. You're still going to get to the playoffs, but you got to go out and you got to execute. This is a game you can't lose. Now you've put yourself in a position where you can't lose the Denver game.
You've got Denver. You've got the Colts, who's sitting at the top of the AFC, just got Sauce Gardner. Those are two big ones coming right out. And then you play the Cowboys, who, again, tragedy today. What?
Yeah.
We even talked about that, dude. Marshawn Nealon. I remember scouting him out of Western Michigan.
Yeah.
That kid could flat out play. It just shows, man, like, mental illness is wild. Like, because I don't know, it's wild. So, prayers to everybody involved in that. That's tough. It's tough to talk about football. You realize football's not as important as we like to think it is. But still, you're gonna have the Broncos, you're gonna have the Colts, and then you got to play the Cowboys. And the Cowboys made 2 moves at the deadline. I don't think they're a bad team. We know the Cowboys can score points.
Their offense is good. Their defense has not been.
Right. So if Spags comes out and runs some kind of zone, I'm sure Dak will eat it alive.
Well, I mean, you got George Pickens and CD Lamb out there to throw.
That's what I'm saying. And then after that, you've got the Texans. Okay. But the Texans they're not horrible. But against us, they'll turn themselves into a high-tier playoff team. Then you'll play the Chargers. The Titans, worst team in the league. I guarantee you they will look great versus us. They'll look amazing. Yep. And then you'll do Broncos, Raiders again. So, yes, it's a little easier than the front, but it's still tough. Everybody that plays the Chiefs, and especially, Steve, we've always been Kentucky Wildcat fans. And not so much lately, but Kentucky growing up was always at the top of the college basketball pyramids. Like, we're one of the blue bloods. Mm-hmm. Everybody that comes to Rupp, you're their national championship.
Right.
Everybody. And even when we suck, when we were horrible and we went to the NIT, people were hanging banners when they beat us, and we sucked. Right. So it doesn't matter that the Chiefs suck. People are still coming in. They're going to kick us while we're down, and they're still going to run their victory lap. So people are always going to play their best version of the Chiefs. We can't afford to have any letdowns.
You're right, man. So it's going to be interesting seeing this team after this bye week. A lot of important games coming up. I think they'll be ready for it, though, man. I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. Those individual games are super important now, so this one coming up against Denver is going to be crazy. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. But real quick, just wanted to thank everybody for being here tonight. You guys are freaking awesome. Also want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring the live stream. Let's talk about them for a second. We'll be right back.
Football season is in full swing. We're proud to say that All Chiefed Up has teamed with DraftKings Sportsbook to bring you the best ways to get in on the action this NFL season. DraftKings Sportsbook has industry-leading live betting market availability, meaning their odds update dynamically as the game unfolds, keeping you right in the middle of the most relevant storylines in real time. It takes your fan experience to the next level. And when it comes to betting on touchdowns, DraftKings has you covered with all your favorite options, including first touchdown scorer. So make no mistake about it, DraftKings Sportsbook has all your favorite ways to bet touchdowns this NFL season. For this week's matchups, I'm eyeing some interesting lines, like over-under on total touchdowns for our favorite multi-talented tight end. Plus, maybe even checking out the odds for first touchdown scorer in that high-scoring rivalry between barbecue versus chicken wings. Get in on the action and sign up using our promo code ACU. With DraftKings Sportsbook, the crowd is yours.
Shout out DraftKings for sponsoring tonight's live streams. Get it, have fun with it. Remember, always play responsibly. Mike,
Steve, they just signed a big deal today with ESPN. Did you see that one?
Ooh, look at them.
ESPN's getting rid of, I think they were with PID, and they're shutting it down. They're going with DraftKings, and coincidentally, we're going to team up with them too. That's what's going
Let's
on.
go.
So we're part of ESPN, Steve.
That's not a good thing, maybe.
I don't know if that's great. I don't know if that's great.
Does that mean we're going to get dumber?
We've gotten dumber, yes.
Perry with the 2 bombs. That's my issue with Veach. I don't trust him to improve the defensive line. I would agree with that. Now, they've gone out and drafted towards it, and they've added to it in the past. They've definitely tried. It's not like you completely abandoned it. This season, though, I feel like after the Omar Norman Lott thing, it was kind of obvious we needed to do something. This would be the only time where I would agree. I don't think Brett Veach has even tried, to an extent. But, I mean, just coming off that drafting No More Norman Lott, Ashton Gelati. I mean, you see what they do. Like, they'll always go out and Mike Pennell it or Derek Nottie it. I mean, that's kind of par for the course. But I really liked when they add those veterans coming in that still have gas in the tank, know the game of football inside and out, have all the experience, dude. I'm talking Terrell Suggs. We got him, won a Super Bowl with him. I'm talking Carlos Dunlap. We got him, won a Super Bowl with him. Melvin Ingram. We've been doing that, and it's been a proven formula for us. This year, we just said, no, we're good. We're going to let O'Menahue and Mike Dana see if they can put their big boy pants on and do something. So I just think that's where we're at, and hopefully one of those two can rise up to the occasion there.
Yeah. I actually think, and this was a wild thought when it happened, I think Turk Wharton leaving the team kind of hurt more than we all thought it was going to. I thought that maybe, though, you could replace that. And I thought Omar Norman Lott was a good replacement for it. Turk Wharton ended up signing, 3 years, 45? Is that what he signed for? Yes, 3 years, $45 million, so about $15 million a year, with incentives up to $54 million. That was a big contract. Yes, the Chiefs couldn't probably work with that. But do you realize, like, 2 years of Omenihu, and then we re-signed him this offseason for 3.5, worth up to $4 million? Do you realize that's 3 years we've invested into Charles Omenihu for about $20 million?
Yeah, dude, and I don't know if it's worth it.
So that's what I'm saying.
mean,
like, look,
obviously.
if you hadn't done that, and if you hadn't maybe re-signed, Mike Dana to that 3-year deal two years ago, you may have had the money to have got Turk Wharton back on the roster. Maybe you could have drafted more defensive ends. And I do know that the Felix Uzama kind of turned out to be a bust pick to this point. And someone asked me, he's on the IR, right? But if he's healthy before the end of the year, he can be reactivated. He's not just out for the entire season. Like, he only has to miss 4 weeks. So he theoretically
could
get
like the season-ending IR before the season even started.
Did they?
Yeah.
I was thinking he just hit the IR.
No, he's done.
So they did. Okay, well, that makes sense then. But I was going to say, I don't think he was going to get back anyway. But I mean, honestly, we've just kind of missed on that. Just over and over, we've missed on those defensive ends. I don't know, man. I just don't know where Brett Veach could have went there. Maybe the Keon White trade. The Patriots traded Keon White, but I mean, was he really worth? I just don't know. I don't know where Brett Veach could look to do it.
Well, I think looking forward, unless something just pops up, right? I think you got what you got, and then I think Steve Spagnuolo is the perfect guy to be in this position. And let me tell you why. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best blitzing defensive coordinators to ever play. So he will find a way to get pressures on quarterbacks when we need to. I think lately what we've seen is the game plan didn't call for it, and it kind of was a detriment. I think it's always a good idea to get a quarterback under pressure. I thought it was weird to allow Josh Allen that much time. I thought it was weird to allow, I mean, not like Marcus Mariota's good, but like a quarterback like Marcus Mariota, get after him. It's game over at that point.
Yeah.
I just feel like the game plan's been a little odd. So I'm hoping going forward into the season, not only do we see a little bit of a pickup from the guys like Omenihu and Mike Dana, and hopefully Ashton can continue to progress the way he is, because I think he's going to be a special player eventually. I do. And,
you're right.
I think we got to start looking at these different, Steve Spagnuolo specials, baby.
Yeah.
The blitz packages, confusing people, causing chaos. I think that's what we got to get back to. Quit dropping into zone and letting teams pick you apart.
And yeah, you're right. They did put Felix Anudike on season-ending IR. For some reason, I was thinking they just threw him on the IR, which means you could activate him after four weeks. But yeah, you're right, season-ending. But the reason I always thought that was so weird, and that I just kind of blew it off, is because it was just a hammy injury. Like, what the hell did he do to his hamstring that they determined?
I just think they decided he was never going to do anything. I just think he's done.
Do you think that's what they did?
Yeah.
But
I do. But why not
now, though, don't you?
But why not, backfill that with something? Like, they just never did.
And they never tried to fix it then.
Yeah, pretty weird. Yeah, Nostradamus, Josh Allen was untouched. I thought that was a silly game plan. We should have been putting pressure on him. I mean, you could put pressure on the quarterback and still keep somebody spying him. I think it's definitely something that they should have done. But they didn't, and we lost. And now we're 5-4 with some must-win games coming up, man. Mike, let's talk about the Denver game just a little bit here in a second. But first, I hear a little bit of a train rolling in. Do you hear that? Oh, we got Pops in the house with the 5 gifted. Let's freaking go, old man. Y'all put some legendaries in the chat for Pops. Is it still going? Is there more?
Okay.
I was waiting for it to go again.
Gosh.
I was waiting for it to go again.
The next time you click that button, make sure that the button should be clicked.
I didn't click anything. Pops for the 5 gifted. If you got one of those, make sure to thank him in the chat. Welcome to the crew, by the way. Let's take a look and see who's part of the ACU crew now. How about that? Well, maybe not. Maybe I can't see it. It won't let me see it. But either way, welcome to the crew. Let's talk about the Denver game a little bit.
Nobody's part of the crew.
Don't hit that button now.
I hit the button and it stopped. And it just do it over and over again.
Let's talk about the Denver matchup. This is a must-win game for the Chiefs, in my opinion. At this point, Denver at the top of the division. You're at 5-4. I think this is a must-win game. End of story. Like people have talked about, oh, we have to beat Buffalo. We have to do this. We have to do that. I don't think anything's been a must-win game so far. And even saying that at 10 games into the season, I feel is a little weird. But I think this is one. I think it's something you have to win. You can't lose this one.
Does Denver really scare people that much?
No, not at all. That's the crazy part about it.
They're winning versus the Raiders 10-7. This is a team that we beat
right
into the ground. So what does this mean? That any given day, any given game, a team can play like trash or a team can play amazing.
We need the Raiders to win this game.
And this is what happens to the Chiefs every time. In the scale of play like trash, play amazing, you're going to get their amazing 99% of the times. So the Chiefs have got to figure that out. Is that every game you have to come at and you got to look at it like it's the most important game, and you at least got to go play as fast and as hard as you can for the first half. Like, just get yourself out, get yourself going, and put a team away. And they just don't scare me. But I do know that the way you're seeing them play versus the Raiders tonight, they're going to look tons better versus the Chiefs next week because that's the way it works.
Right.
Right?
Yep. Mike, people did get memberships. David Howe, Stephanie McComb, Red Pill Crip, PT, and Eric Wallen. Welcome to the freaking crew. But yeah, this team doesn't scare me at all. Denver, to me, is overhyped at this point. I think Denver is still in the rebuilding process. I said when Sean Payton got there, give him 3 years. This is his second season. I still think they're stepping to where they want to be at to be competitive. Now, they are competitive this season, but like you said, they've played bad teams, and they've barely beat these bad teams. A lot of teams giving games away to them, and now we're watching the Raiders put up a fight against them. After we put belt to ass against the Raiders.
So, Geno Smith has more passing yards than Bo Nix.
That's insane, bro. I'm not worried about them. We should win these games. But that's the thing. Like I said, every game, it's any given Sunday, right? So you got to go out. You got to execute. You got to get the job done. Can Denver beat you? Absolutely. So, I mean, it's just a must win. And then, the Colts game the following week, that's a nice win. Let's win that one. That puts us in good position as well. Still a conference opponent there. And then you're also looking at, playing the Chargers again here soon. So, I mean, every divisional game's a must win at this point. But if you could run out the divisional games here, I think you can pretty much win the West. I think you could, because you're down a game and a half to the Chargers, 2 games to the Broncos. If you beat the Broncos twice and you've closed that gap, you beat the Chargers next time, you've closed that gap. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
As long as you don't go out and lose any games that you have no business losing, then I think we're fine. Just really interested to see how the coaching staff has this team going against Denver right after the bye week.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not scared of Denver. I'm really not. Like, it sounds cocky, but I'm just not. If the Chiefs play their game, nobody beats the Chiefs. Like, I know it sounds dumb, but I still put the Chiefs in the top 2 or 3 teams in the entire. I think everybody in the NFL this year is just pretty mid.
Yeah, I mean, if the Colts are the top team in the league, brother,
and I feel like
Daniel
they're
Jones,
dude.
Look, they got a good offensive line. They got a good running back. What else? What else? I mean, Daniel Jones ain't gonna beat you. You figure out a way to stop Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones is not going to beat you when it counts.
I mean, what do you have, like 6 picks last week?
Yeah, it's just, I'm right there with you, dude. And then the other teams in the AFC, like the Steelers, like you think they're pretenders, right? I don't think they're much.
No, I think they're going to lose the division before it's all said and done.
Right, dude. So, I mean, we're in a good position still. The Chiefs just got to go out and execute and get it done, man. But, yeah, the defensive line, that seems to be the flaw, right? That's what everybody's worried about. So that's why we kind of brought up Broderick Martin leaving the team today. And then how are they going to replenish that position? We already have no depth there. But I guess at this point, the only thing that you can hope for is a scheme change on the defense. Pick up the slack some way, somehow. Get some pressure on these quarterbacks some way, somehow. I mean, if you could get enough pressure on quarterbacks every week to where can you mask that? Could we get to a point at the end of the season to where it's like, oh, well, we didn't really need anybody there. We didn't need a defensive tackle. That's why they didn't sign anybody. Do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, everything's a possibility at this point. I don't know what to think about it, to be honest. I thought that pass rush was going to be something we looked into, and the fact that we didn't even hear a peep about it going after the trade deadline. Like, all you heard was Breece Hall, Breece Hall, Breece Hall. You never heard a peep about a defender, and it's like there had to be something there. Like, nobody just reported it, right?
Right. Richie, I love this idea. We've brought this idea up a few times. I would rush Chanel off the edge. I would do it in a heartbeat.
He's done it a few times.
Yeah.
Let me go find what he's done. If I'm not mistaken, the very first play of the game versus the Giants, he did it.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it.
Let me see how much he's actually done it, because it's not as much as I would like. But I will say that Spags has tried it.
I've seen him there a few times for sure.
Yeah, he has tried it. It's just not as much as we would all like.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like he's an underutilized player anyway. I feel like he's one of those players that kind of fall victim to Spags and his scheme. And it's like, dude, Leo Chanel is a badass football player, like through and through. And we don't even use him a whole lot. So I would be okay with that. I think that's a great idea. I don't know if they'd ever do it. I mean, obviously they've tried it a few times, but I don't know if they'd ever commit to it. But I like that idea.
He's lined up on the defensive line 108 times this year.
That's more than I thought.
Out of 279 total snaps.
That's a lot more than I thought.
So let me get an average.
Yeah, but how many of those plays is he just dropping back and spying a quarterback or dropping into coverage?
So 39% of his snaps has been on the defensive line. Like, he's been right on the line. Again, how many has he rushed? I don't know if you can find that stat.
Yeah, but I would bet you it wasn't a lot. I would almost say more than not, he probably dropped back.
Oh, here it is. He's rushed the passer. He's actually rushed the passer 71 times.
So half of those?
No. 108 on the defensive line, 71 rushes. Almost 75%.
That's more than I thought.
Right around 65 to 70%.
That's more than I thought. Lone Wolf wants to know if we've heard anything about Christian Wilkins. I've not heard a word about Christian Wilkins.
No, Christian Wilkins is not in football shape right now. It's that ankle's really messed up with him. That's the whole thing keeping him off teams.
Yeah.
Is that ankle.
Yeah, I think so. Guys, appreciate you being here. Do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Don't be a slapnut. Be a part of the ACU crew. You can go over to join.allchiefedup.com and get that subscription for just $4.99 a month. Mike, we gave away a Charles Omenihu signed jersey and a signed Tamba Hali picture last month. This month, we're giving away a signed Noah Gray jersey on our members only live stream. So if you want a chance to get that, just go hit that join button and be a part of the ACU crew. Also, we have merchandise at merch.allchiefedup.com. Bunch of cool t-shirts. We got some festive stuff. Get over there and check that out. You got to get one of those Merry Cheesemans shirts because the holiday season's rolling in quick. You can use the code HORNTSEASON. That's promo code HORNTSEASON, HORNTSZN. You get 15% off anything over at the store right now. So I suggest you go do that. That helps the channel out. We'll be here for a couple more minutes, guys. If you have any last-minute questions, get those in the chat. But yeah, pretty good talk tonight, Mike. There's not a whole lot to talk about at the moment. We're in our bye week, right? So we still have another week and a few days before we even play a football game. Nothing exciting happened. It's a trade deadline for the Chiefs. It's been very drab. And then, of course, coming off a loss, it makes that 2 weeks just seem even longer. So, kind of right now it's all speculation. And I just really hope that the team's getting to where they need to be. The coaches are getting their heads on straight. We're getting ready to come out this back half of the season with some fight in us and actually get this done, because I'm with you. I think this team is talented enough to make a good run at it this year. So I'd hate to see it go to waste.
Yeah, same. I think it's a good team. I really do. I just hope we don't waste it. Chris Jones coming out of the bye, I hope that he gets a lot of good rest this week, because he's going to need it going into the second half of the year, because we didn't get him any help.
We need a big back half of the season from Chris Jones.
Yeah.
100%. So it's 10-7, and the Broncos are winning. Do they have the ball right now? I'd love to see the Raiders pull this off.
Not watching it.
I would love to see the Raiders pull this off. That'd be great. Hey, Melissa's here. It's actually Melissa. What's up, Melissa? Good to see you. Bucky didn't steal your account today. About Time says, can we discuss how Juju is one of our most dependable to get something done, catching or blocking? He's there. 100%, man. I think that's become apparent for people. A lot of people didn't like getting Juju again. I was always a fan of having Juju on the team. I feel like he's a guy, he's not like super old. He's still under 30 years old, but it feels like he's been playing forever. He's got a lot of experience, and he don't care to get in and do the dirty work. He actually enjoys it. That's how him and Brian Branch got in a fight. Because Juju will get out there and hit people. He'll block, and he loves it. He has fun. He talks trash. He's smiling. He's laughing. That's the kind of guy you want on your football team. And Juju's definitely somewhat of a security blanket for Mahomes because he can move the sticks for you. We've seen a lot of third downs go Juju's way. So it's just nice to have him here. So shout out Juju.
Juju. Hey, I like Juju. We didn't think he was going to make the team this year.
No,
we didn't think, but we said that it could have been a possible kind of thing.
You did. I said no.
Cool. Let's not get into this.
I said they can't let Juju go, baby. He's that experienced guy.
But look, it was a good call, in my opinion. And the reason why was literally Xavier Worthy taking that injury week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that proved. And I think Juju does do a lot of the dirty work. He's a good locker room guy. I think you kind of forget that sometimes when it comes to evaluating players, who's going to make the team, who's not. I think you kind of forget, this guy is just valuable.
Yep. For sure. I think it goes a lot of. That's why you saw CEH on the team for as long as you did. That's why you saw. Yeah, exactly. It's why you've seen a lot of things like that because, I mean, sometimes that locker room stuff, that makes a difference, man. I mean, think back, like, I want to see the defensive side of the football have that camaraderie they had back with Frank, the Shark Clark.
Yeah.
And Chris Jones and all those cats, dude. Like, that's what we want to see. Those guys were just like this. They were having fun with it. I think that's what we need to see going forward, man. So hopefully they can just get it all together. She says, I hear Bucky is going to create something for you guys, Melissa says. Yeah, so Melissa, we have this idea. We gotta come up with like some sort of a blueprint for it before Bucky could even make it. But the idea is it'd be hard for me to even find this guy by now. I should have wrote his name down. But there's somebody that has season tickets at Arrowhead, and they're only like 6 rows up. And we were going to have an all chiefed up horn meter, you know? So like it goes 1 to 11 on the horn meter. So like when the team scores or there's an interception or, you know, whatever, depending on how it is, you know, the horn meter goes up, it goes down. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I think if the players could see it, if it was good enough for the players to see where they were on the horn meter, they might be trying to get to 11. You know,
yeah,
why not? I think it could be a staple in Arrowhead, the freaking all chiefed up horn meter. So if we can figure that out, Melissa, we'll hit him up. He does good work, so I know it's going to look good.
Be a horn meter.
No horn meter, baby. Tell me you wouldn't laugh your ass off if you turned on like Monday Night Football and they showed the guy in the crowd with the horn meter. I mean, come on. It has to happen. I think we got to figure it out. Got to be somebody out there that can help us create it. So I'm game. All right, guys. Well, we're going to jump off here. Hopefully the Raiders pull this one out. That'd be nice. I don't see it happening, but we'd take it for sure. Do us a favor, hit the like button on the way out if you haven't. Be on the lookout for more content coming this weekend and all next week. Hopefully the Chiefs can get back at it against Denver and get on the right track and finish the season out strong. You guys stay positive. This team's good. I think we're fine. Hopefully these coaches can get it together. And I don't guess we needed anybody that bad. Or Brett Veach would have went and got somebody, you know?
Yeah. Trust Veach.
Trust Veach, Dale.
That's what everybody's motto's been.
It's always been. I think we have to continue to do that.
Now. Don't bail on it now.
You guys have a good night. We'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.
Wow.